A very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you and here are this morning's headlines. State set for final phase of voting in Uttar Pradesh and Manipur. 40 seats in UP and 22 in Manipur to vote on Wednesday. Indian Ocean Rim Association Summit in Jakarta today. Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari says piracy, terrorism, major issues of concern. Former Pakistan NSA's statement on 26/11, a reaffirmation of ITS stand, says India. Mahmood Ali Durrani had termed attack a classic example of cross-border terrorism. US President Donald Trump signs new executive order on a travel ban, removes Iraq from list, new measures to affect 6 mainly Muslim nations. And India take a crucial 126-run lead in second innings against Australia in the second test in Bengaluru to resume at the overnight score of 213 for 4. Let's start the bulletin by taking a look at the news from the states that are going to assembly polls in Verdict 2017. Well, the stage is set for the 7th and the final phase of polling in Uttar Pradesh on 8th of March. Well, the high-voltage campaigning drew to a close on Monday evening. While 40 seats are spread across 7 districts of the state, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Lok Sabha constituency, Varanasi will vote in this phase. Well, the other districts include Jaunpur, Ghazipur, Mirzapur, Chandauli, Sonbhadra and Bhadohi. Now, voting in the 3 Naxal-affected districts of Sonbhadra, Mirzapur and Chandauli will take place between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. tomorrow, while in the rest of the polls, the polls will wrap up at 5 p.m. Now, 535 candidates, including 51 women, are in the fray in this phase. 1.41 crore people are eligible to vote. Well, the BSP is contesting on 40 seats, while BJP on 32, SP on 31, Congress on 9 and RLD on 21 seats. Well, here's a special report now. Well, boatmen, farmers and fishermen who live along the Ganges in Varanasi find themselves a disillusioned lot, with every candidate paying a lip service to their needs. Now, Varanasi's boatsmen and fishermen have now floated their own political party in Nishad that is contesting its first election this year.
Banaras is incomplete without its boatmen and fishermen. Not just their social role, but their political contribution is no less significant. In 2014, both groups rallied strongly behind the BJP, but this time they are pinning their hopes on a new outfit, the Nirbal India Shoshit Hamara Aamdal or Nishad party.
हम लोगों का कोई जो है जो भी काम करता है, हम लोग एक कमेटी बनाया गया है, निषाद कमेटी। तो जो भी कोई काम करता है, हम लोग इकट्ठा होकर अपना निषाद पार्टी की तरफ से हम लोग अपने मांग को पूरा किया जाता है। कि हमारा निषाद पार्टी खड़ा है, हम उनको सपोर्ट करेंगे या हारे या जीते।
Ironically, the communities fear displacement from a pet development project of the centre. The boatmen fear loss of livelihood by a proposed jetty in the Kashi Banega Kyoto plan. The jetty envisaged in Prime Minister Modi's project runs 500 meters long across the Shivala, the Shashwamedh and the Rajendra Prasad Ghats and 100 meters into the river.
जीटी से हम लोग को बहुत ज़्यादा नुकसान है। जीटी अगर लग जाएगी वहाँ तो नाव उस पार बनेगी, नाव बनेगी तो जो है कि कस्टमर जो इसी पार रहेंगे, जीटी पर से ही आरती देखेंगे। आरती जब देखेंगे तो हो सकता है आनी तूफान आ जाए। यहाँ जो है गर्मी में हमेशा आनी तूफान आता रहता है, तो जीटी जो है खंड खंड हो जाएगा, उसमें बहुत लोग मर सकते हैं।
The communities want the government to focus only on cleaning ghats and promoting tourism in Varanasi. They claim that tourists come for the ancient heritage and culture of Banaras, and alterations in the original structures will only hurt local residents.
घाट की सरसफाई में यहाँ की व्यवस्था होनी चाहिए, जो कि कंटिन्यूअस चलनी चाहिए। इसको नहीं तो ऐसे ही मतलब जैसे आज स्थिति है सर सफाई की वजह से तो ये स्थिति है, नहीं पहले सफाई नहीं होती थी, यहाँ कोई नहीं आता था। आज सर सफाई होने की वजह से यहाँ सबकी रोजी रोजगार बढ़ा हुआ है। मॉडर्नाइजेशन की कोई यहाँ जरूरत नहीं है, जो नेचुरल चीज है इसको ऐसे ही रहने दी जाए।
Boatmen and fishermen belong to the backward communities. They comprise 16% of the state's population and are spread across 75 constituencies along the route of the Ganga and 45 seats along the Yamuna in the state.
The discourse among these backward communities is centered around the belief that their backwardness is due to underrepresentation in politics. After consolidating under their own party, they feel that they can wobble the boats of bigger political parties on March 11th. Reporting from Varanasi with camera person Arvind, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
And Manipur will also vote for the second and the final phase on 8th of March. Well, a total of 22 constituencies will witness polling, most of which are in the hilly areas. Now, 98 candidates are contesting in this phase. And, of course, the most prominently, Ram Sharmila will take on Chief Minister Okrami Bobi Singh in his bastion Thorbal. We'll tell you why this phase is crucial for the ruling Congress.
6 districts, Chandel, Imphal East, Senapati, Tamenglong, Thoubal and Ukhrul will go to polls in the second phase. All eyes will be on Thoubal, where the Chief Minister, Okrami Bobi Singh, for the first time since 2002, will face a prominent candidate against him, Iron Lady of Manipur and Praja Party convener, Ram Sharmila. But Ibobi's personal battle aside, the Congress will have its attention on the tribal vote as well. The hill districts, especially the Nagas, account for 12 to 15 seats in this phase.
So the Congress party is that they could not capitalize on that earlier score they were having over any opponent when the new districts were created. So altogether the issues have been diverted. It has gone beyond creation of districts. Now people are looking much beyond the districts. Okay, now districts are created, what next?
The Nagas have been united in their stand against the formation of the new districts in the state. Supported by the United Naga Council and the NSA-NIM, the Naga People's Front, or the NPF, has emerged stronger in the past few weeks, but a split in the vote could benefit the BJP.
Issue of the economic blockade and the issue of the NSA-NIM and this agreement signed with the government of India, this is a new factor that has entered into tribal politics. And I think this is going to polarize the two major tribal groups, the Kukis and the Nagas. One big, large Naga group have been identified with this NSA-NIM. So as such, I think that this NSA-NIM supported groups are going to have a tougher time this year.
Kukis also form another major force in this phase as they influence almost 5 to 6 seats. Many senior leaders from the community left the Congress for the BJP, but their anti-Naga stance could help the Congress.
In the Naga areas, there is an anti-Congress feeling. See that is there. So therefore, and then the fact that there is an anti-incumbency factor among the Nagas and the Kukis who have won last year's elections. And so this anti-incumbency plus anti-Congress, these things are going to work.
Campaigning came to an end at 3 p.m. and now hopes are that voters turn out in full force to make the tribal vote count. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, staying with Manipur, after a large turnout in the first phase of elections in the state, now Governor Najma Abdullah has requested people to come out in much bigger numbers for the second phase. Well, in an exclusive interview to Akhilesh Suman, Governor Najma Abdullah discusses political awareness of the people of Manipur and gives her view on the economic blockade that has been imposed in the state since November last year.
First phase of election is over in Manipur and all preparations are at place for the second phase. With me, Governor of Manipur, Najma Abdullah is there, and let me ask her what she thinks about the higher turnout in the first phase election. Madam, it was a very good presence of voters at the polling booths, and they have shown that Manipur is quite aware that more than 86%, it is around 87% polling. So how do you think how this happened in Manipur?
Well, I'm very happy that it happened in Manipur. I had made a very earnest request and appeal to all the voters to come out and use this adult franchise because it's there. It is part of the constitutional right. In fact, I feel that the second phase of the election, which is in a more difficult area, it's a hilly area, but I request those voters to come and vote. In fact, I had a movement when I was president of the Inter-Parliamentary Union that voting should be made compulsory, because a lot of money government spends on election, every government.
Yeah, Manipur is showing the way that people will vote. We will wait. But economic blockade is still on. More than 100 days are going. So in that situation, if people are coming and voting, do you think that it shows something very special about the state?
Maybe only when the result will come out on 11th, then we would know exactly for what they voted. But they voted. And blockade or no blockade, people should vote. And anyway, it was much easier for them to vote because it's mostly the valley area. But I hope that the second phase on the 8th, they will come out and vote. This will be better than the blockade, because this will be using their democratic right. I have been telling them, because they all come and meet me. I said, use the democratic means for redressal of your grievances. Undemocratic means are not good.
Governor Najma Heptullahi is quite confident, like first phase of election, in second phase also, people will turn up in larger numbers and they will reflect the will of the people, and they will reflect how new assembly will be being in making. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Prasanto in Imphal.
And the High Court of Manipur has declared the over 4-month-long economic blockade in the state as illegal. Well, the blockade has been called by the United Naga Council against the government's decision to carve out 7 new districts in the state. Well, the High Court has also directed the authorities to deal with those supporting the blockade according to the law. Well, the order was passed on a public interest litigation on 3rd of March. Well, this blockade called by the UNC on 1st of November last year has become a key issue in Manipur, where elections are going on. Well, 2 key national highways have been blocked by UNC cadres, severely affecting normal life. And now an update on Gayatri Prajapati, who is absconding, and the Supreme Court has refused to stay the arrest of Uttar Pradesh Minister Gayatri Prajapati in cases relating to alleged gang rape and attempt to rape. Well, Prajapati, the State Transport Minister, has been evading arrest since 27th of February after the Supreme Court directed the state police to lodge an FIR against him. It ordered Prajapati to approach the appropriate court for relief. Well, a bench headed by Justice A.K. Sikri also expressed unhappiness that its order on the lodging of FIR against Prajapati was given political colour. However, in the first major headway in the case, now the police has arrested Prajapati's close aide, his gunner, Chandrapal Singh. Well, Singh is being interrogated at the moment, and the police is trying to extract information about Prajapati's whereabouts and also about the rest of the minister's accomplices. Well, raids are also being conducted at places named by the gunner. Chandrapal will be produced in court today. That was our special segment on assembly elections, and in this bulletin we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news.
Nationalism, to say, is monopolized by a certain section of people whose agenda is that if you are not with me, then you are anti-national.
Nobody can monopolize nationalism, and nobody can define nationalism.
It was the war that killed her father. Does BJP see Gurmeher Kaur now as an anti-national?
You have to understand that she's just a student for me. Our battle is with the far leftist ideological group.
Watch to the point with Union Minister of State for Home Affairs, Kiran Rijiju, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Thanks for staying with us. Well, the centre has asked SBI to reconsider its decision to levy penalty on non-maintenance of minimum balance. Well, the main lender plans to hike the penalty from 1st of April, and the move is expected to impact over 31 crore account holders with the bank. Well, PTI is also quoting a sources as saying that the SBI has been asked to also reconsider its decision to propose levy on cash transactions and ATM withdrawals over specified limits. Well, the SBI has announced imposing a penalty ranging from 20 to 100 rupees on non-maintenance of minimum average balance in the saving bank accounts from 1st of April this year. The penalty is as high as 500 rupees in the case of current accounts. Well, this penalty is being reintroduced after a gap of 5 years. The government has also urged other lenders, including private sector banks, to reconsider the charges on cash transactions and ATM withdrawals above a certain limit. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has sought response from the centre and the RBI on a plea alleging that people were not being allowed to deposit demonetized currency notes till 31st of March as promised. Well, a bench headed by Chief Justice J.S. Kehar has fixed the matter for hearing on 10th of March. Well, Finance Ministry and RBI have been directed to file response by the next date of hearing. The plea referred to the speech of Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 8th of November last year when he had said that citizens would be allowed to deposit the demonetized notes of 500 and 1,000 rupees beyond the cut-off date of 31st of December 2016 till 31st of March this year. Now, subsequently, a notification was issued by RBI regarding the same. Now, the bench also noted that the RBI's last ordinance, which permits only those persons who were outside India during the stipulated period to deposit the demonetized currency notes till 31st of March, is a breach of assurances given by the Prime Minister and the RBI. And the RBI has said that the impact of note ban on the GDP may be seen in the current quarter on some segments. Well, RBI Deputy Governor Viral V. Acharya said that a remonetization exercise should be completed in 2 to 3 months. The RBI conceded that the temporary impact on some parts of the economy is hard, but said that it expects the effect to be temporary. It also said that the impact of the notes ban would help in bringing the informal sector into the mainstream economy. On to some other news now. Well, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari reached Jakarta on Monday on a 2-day visit to attend the summit of the 21-nation Indian Ocean Rim Association. Well, the leaders will lay emphasis on connectivity, open maritime trade and rights of navigation at this meet. Well, the theme of the summit this year is strengthening maritime cooperation for a peaceful, stable and prosperous Indian Ocean. Well, at the meeting, the member nations are also expected to adopt an IORA Concord and an action plan as well. The declaration on preventing and countering terrorism and violent extremism is also an agreement of the IORA member states about the importance of countering terrorism.
I mean, obviously, maritime safety and security, it's a maritime focused gathering, and the most important thing is that for RIP countries to be able to cooperate with each other, they need safety and security. As you know, we've had in the western part of the Indian Ocean littoral serious problems of piracy and terrorism. For the moment, it has been contained as far as the Northern Arabian Sea region is concerned, thanks to very good international cooperation. But these are things which you have to guard against because terrorism is an international phenomenon and it surfaces in different parts of the world.
On to the other top story of the day. Well, on Monday, Pakistan's former National Security Advisor exposed the role of Pakistan in the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. Now, speaking at the 19th Asian Security Conference in New Delhi, Major General Mahmood Ali Durrani said that Mumbai terror attacks were carried out by a terror group based in Pakistan. He also added that Pakistan had proposed to send a probe team to India immediately after the Mumbai terror attacks, but the then UPA government did not respond. Well, Durrani said that the 26/11 terror strikes were a classic example of cross-border terrorism carried out by a Pakistan-based terror group, but maintained that the Pakistani government had no role in the attack. Now, responding to Durrani's comments, Minister of State for Home Kiran Rijiju has said that there is nothing new in it. Well, India has held a Pakistani government establishment responsible for the attack in which 166 people had lost their lives.
The terrorist attack in Mumbai carried out by a terrorist group based in Pakistan on 26 November 2008 is a classic trans-border terrorist event. I hate to admit this, but this is true.
India's position is very well known. There's nothing new revelation for us.
Afghanistan and India have been victims of this proxy war for decades now. This is why its framing of CCIT, India has included within its ambit action against entities that fund terror groups, propagate terrorist ideologies, and provide safe haven to terrorists.
News from down south, and a 22-year-old Indian fisherman has been shot dead allegedly by the Sri Lankan Navy. Well, the incident occurred while the fisherman was fishing in a mechanized boat at a short distance of Kachathivu Islet. Well, the incident occurred last evening when Bridgo from central Rameshwaram was fishing near the islet along with others, and the Sri Lankan naval personnel arrived at the spot and opened fire. But Bridgo was shot in the neck and he died on the spot. Another fisherman suffered leg injuries as well. Well, the Fishermen's Association in Rameshwaram says that the Lankan Navy did not even fire a warning shot. Well, tension prevailed in the area as fishermen gathered in front of a hospital where the body is kept and protested against the firing. On to some international news now. Well, US President Donald Trump has signed a new executive order placing a 90-day ban on people from 6 mainly Muslim nations. Well, the new measure will block citizens of Syria, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan and Yemen from obtaining visas for at least 90 days. Well, the order also suspends the admission of refugees into the US for 120 days. Well, the directive takes effect from 16th of March. Now, Iraq, which was covered in the previous order, has been removed from this new one. The original 27th of January order was blocked by a federal court and had sparked confusion at the airports and mass protests in the country. The new order removes out language in the original one that indefinitely banned Syrian refugees. Now, the new order was unveiled by Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, Attorney General Jeff Sessions and Department of Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly on Monday.
It is the President's solemn duty to protect the American people. And with this order, President Trump is exercising his rightful authority to keep our people safe. As threats to our security continue to evolve and change, common sense dictates that we continually reevaluate and reassess the systems we rely upon to protect our country.
We stand by the first executive order. We felt that it was completely compliant with the law. But if your goal is to get something done in the quickest amount of time, then you have to take into consideration all of those things. We didn't want to wait potentially a year to have it litigated through the court process.
The new executive order eliminates certain individuals, lawful permanent residents, Iraqis who were part of the first order, but it does not eliminate the central constitutional problem. In our view, the first order was based on religious discrimination, and this order is as well, so we will continue to challenge it.
Meanwhile, in order to deter people from illegally entering the United States by crossing the Mexican border, well, there is a new proposal under consideration by the US's Department of Homeland Security. Well, according to this move, women and children crossing together illegally into the United States would be separated by the authorities. Now, currently, there is a catch and release policy in which migrants who cross illegally are free to live in the United States while awaiting legal proceedings. However, President Donald Trump has called for ending the system. The new scheme would allow the government to keep parents in custody while they contest a deportation or wait for asylum hearings, while their children would be put into protective custody with the Department of Health and Human Services. Remember, tens of thousands of parents and children, mainly who are fleeing violence in Honduras and El Salvador, have been detained coming across the border. Staying with the US and the country on Monday issued a travel warning for its citizens visiting Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh, and said that extremist elements are also active in India. Well, the State Department in its worldwide caution said that the US government assesses the terrorist groups in South Asia may be planning attacks in the region, possibly against US facilities, citizens and interests. It says the US citizens should avoid travel to Afghanistan as no region in the country is immune from violence. It also said that a number of established terrorist organizations, indigenous sectarian groups and other militants pose a danger to the US citizens in Pakistan as well. It further added that extremist elements are also active in India as outlined in a recent emergency message. Now, terrorists have hit a wide variety of targets and institutions in Bangladesh as well. Now to some cricket news now. Well, it is the fourth day of the second test match between India and Australia being played in Bangalore. Well, India ended the third day at 213 for 4, while taking a crucial 126 runs lead in the second innings. Cheteshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane were at the crease with an unbeaten 93-run partnership for the fifth wicket. Now, earlier, opener KL Rahul gave India a good start in the second innings with his second 50 of the match. However, the hosts once again seem to be in trouble with Josh Hazlewood's 3 wickets, reducing India to 120 for 4. But Pujara then steadied the Indian innings along with Ajinkya Rahane with a well-composed half-century. Earlier, the hosts wrapped up the Australian innings on 276 with spinner Ravindra Jadeja picking up 6 wickets.
Going at it with hard hands.
And former BCCI President Anurag Thakur is facing contempt notice for filing a false affidavit in the Supreme Court on Monday, tendered unconditional and unqualified apology before it. Well, Anurag Thakur said that he had never intended to file any false information before the apex court and filed an affidavit explaining the circumstances under which he made those claims. On 2nd of January, the Supreme Court had stripped one of the most powerful men in the world of cricket of all his powers. The bench fixed the matter for the further hearing on 17th of April and also exempted Thakur from personal appearance on that day. Now, the apex court had on that day removed Anurag Thakur and Ajay Shirke as the president and secretary respectively for obstructing and impeding its directions for overhauling governance in the cricket body. The bench had slapped Thakur with contempt and perjury notices for filing a false affidavit in the court over writing to the ICC on the issue of autonomy. Well, that's it from me and the Breakfast News team at the moment. But news and updates continue on Rajya Sabha television. Thanks for watching.